What's up guys, today we'll be going over Izanagi's Burden with Catalyst and be breaking down all the different combinations in DPS and numbers for Shadowkeep, including total damage output, and be comparing it to some of the other things we tested yesterday and seeing where it will stack up in the new meta without auto reloading in the game. The second that change was announced, everyone kind of assumed Izanagi's would jump to the top of the meta because this change won't really impact the damage of Izanagi's. It's going to stay pretty much the same, and in the TWAB, snipers are getting 20% buff, but it appears exotics will stay the exact same, more or less. So really, it's not getting changed at all in Shadowkeep. Then in this video, I'll also be pairing it with Wendigo GL3 and taking advantage of auto loading holster and seeing what that combo can produce also. So first, let's just look at Izanagi's Burden with Honed Edge times 4. Looking at damage on Greg, it hits 21,885, which is so much for a single shot. Then in these tests, I'm going to be using double sniper rifle reserve, then also sniper rifle loader on my gauntlets to increase the downtime while reloading and also get 6 honed edge shots. So let's go ahead and test that. Just base shooting it off. Nothing crazy here, just the base DPS of Izanagi's. And I'm sure most of you guys already know, but if you hold reload as you shoot this weapon, you go straight to the next honed edge times 4 shot. You don't have to double reload. I'm sure most of you guys know that, but just in case the few that don't, that will help you greatly maximize your DPS with this weapon. And shooting off 6 honed edge times 4 takes 13.5 seconds. And during that 13.5 seconds, we did 131,000 total damage, which is a lot for a single weapon in the game, especially only 6 shots, which means the DPS of Izanagi's Burden just shooting it is 9,714, which is already higher than everything we tested so far under the Shadowkeep type meta. Now we can use something like Paul's Way to simulate what the reload speed might be like in Shadowkeep with something like Lunafaction and Rally Barricade, and this will get us to the maximum reload speed with Izanagi currently in the game, which I'm assuming will be easy to get in Shadowkeep with the things I just mentioned. So doing that now with the much quicker reload speed, shooting off 6 shots again, see how long that takes. Now it's going to take 10.217 seconds, meaning the DPS is now 12,852, which is much higher than anything we've tested so far when taking into account auto loading not being in the game anymore. So Izanagi alone is very good. Well, what happens if you throw in Wendigo GL3 with auto loading holster and explosive light into the combo with it and see what that does to the total damage and also the DPS of this weapon? So looking at the damage of Wendigo with buff and without buff, you're going to have that buff damage for the first 6 shots. Now this time I'm using double GL reserves because that is what I'm going to run out with first. So what I'm going to do is shoot 1 shot, reload it, swap to Wendigo, shoot off 6 shots of Wendigo, first 6 with buff, then swap back to sniper, shoot, reload, then by the time you hear the noise, go back to Wendigo, shoot 6 again, and do that over and over again, and see how long that takes. And the cool thing about this combo is that you shoot both reserves pretty much at the same time, so it's a very even and balanced combo. Final last 3 shots of Wendigo, and that took 24.433 seconds. And over all of that stuff, we did 219,000 damage, which is a lot more than the combos we did yesterday. But the DPS of this combo is pretty much the same as those combos yesterday, just because of how long you're reloading Izanagi's in this combo. So we found out Izanagi's Burden by itself is pretty much the highest DPS in the game in Shadowkeep from what we've tested so far. And it makes sense if you throw in something lower DPS like a grenade launcher into the combo. If you average something with like 13,000 DPS with something that's 8,000 DPS, obviously it's going to average out right in that middle area, which is what we saw in that combination. Which means there's a lot of different things you can do with Izanagi's. You can also use a 150 GL with Spike and pretty much just shoot off Izanagi's first, then swap to the Spike GL, then just shoot that off too, and that'll pretty much be the exact same result. You could also use a 150 with auto loading holster, which I do not have, but I still prefer Wendigo over it because explosive light is really good for that burst damage, then also for ad clear, but a 150 could be used also. So it appears Izanagi's will be the meta for burst damage in Shadowkeep, but like I mentioned a lot, if that burst damage doesn't kill the boss, it's kind of useless, and that's where using one of these grenade launchers at the same time will come into play, or right after emptying all of your ammo of Izanagi's. And I'm interested to see in Shadowkeep with the increased reload speed with Luna and Rally Barricade, to see how quick the reload of Izanagi's is, because if you did a combo with, let's say, Wendigo where you shoot off 6 Wendigo and then shoot 2 Izanagi's, then shoot 6, shoot 2, shoot 6, shoot 2, you might have enough time to be able to shoot 2 Izanagi shots in that downtime of auto-loading holster, and that actually might increase the DPS of the combo higher than just the base DPS of Izanagi's Burden. So I'm definitely interested to retest that once we get those changes in Shadowkeep. So compared to the combos we tested yesterday, this one is probably slightly better because Izanagi's is really good for that burst damage if you're doing a 1 phase to shooting it straight. If you have to go into the 2nd phase, you still have GL ammo, or you can do the combo where you kind of shoot both at the same time like I just showed off. So you have higher DPS and you have more sustained damage. Those 5 or 6 shots of honed edge depending on your reserve perks is so much damage just out of one single weapon. The only thing that really beats it is Anarchy. So that Anarchy Sniper combo is still going to be probably the king of sustained damage in Shadowkeep, but this is definitely a little bit better in DPS and still pretty good at sustained damage. And not to mention that this combo allows you to use a really good primary. Most of the really good primaries for PvE are in the energy slot. For example, if Recluse doesn't get touched, you can still use Recluse with this combo. You can also use something like Nation of Bees, Trust, Awakened Vigil, you name it. There's so many different really good top tier PvE primaries in the energy slot. So just to recap some of the stuff I said so far in this video, Izanagi's Burden will probably be the meta for burst damage. If you're going for a one phase, shooting off all 6 shots straight is probably going to be the highest DPS in the game. Then if you pair it with something like Wendigo, you also have a good way to increase your sustained damage. Then also Wendigo is really good for ad clear, major clear, and all that good stuff. And Izanagi's Burden can pretty much one hit everything in the game except bosses, as you see in this gameplay. And finally, you have something like Recluse or Dragonfly Rampage Trust or something like that, which is probably going to be one of your best primary choices in Shadowkeep also. So overall, this build is going to be a very solid choice for pretty much anything in the game in Shadowkeep. I'm sure there's going to be better things in different scenarios, but overall this will more than likely be just one of those really good overall builds that kind of are universal in the game, kind of like my Huckleberry, Loaded Question, and Wendigo build in this previous meta. Anyways, let me know what you think about this build. Do you like Izanagi's Burden? Have you been using it? Are you looking forward to using it in Shadowkeep when it gets better compared to everything else? Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.